Welcome to High School Academic Derby, brought to you by the Onslow County Schools. Our match today is between White Oak and Dixon. Our scorekeeper is Alex Vaccaro, and now let's meet the coaches and players for this round. We'll start with White Oak, coached by Ashley Baker. Her players are
Chris Cooney, Jr.
Victoria Yarmy, Senior.
Kyra Robinson, Jr.
Destiny Pierce, Jr.
Dixon is coached by Ashley DeMartin. Her players are
Nick Sanders, Jr.
Alex Gartman, Senior.
Jameson Weaver, Senior.
Rhiannon Schmidt, Senior.
Toss-up number 1 deals with geography. This summit of North America is the highest in the Rocky Mountains, the state of Colorado, and the entire Mississippi River drainage basin. Identify this peak whose name begins with the letter E. That's Mount Elbert. Spelling. In the sentence, Parker is consistently conscientious about completing her work on time. What is the correct spelling of the word conscientious? Alex.
Consciencious.
Correct. For your bonus, spell correctly each of the following words that also begin with the letters C-O. Number 1, colleague. Number 2, commentator. Number 3, connoisseur. Number 4, coercion. Jameson.
For number 1, we have Colleague. For number 2, we have Commentator. For number 3, we have Consour. And for number 4, we have Coertion.
1 and 2 are correct for 4 points. 3 or 4, White Oak? Answers, please. I'm sorry, you've taken too much time. For connoisseur, the spelling is Connoisseur. And for coercion, it's Coercion. Music. Which noun that begins with the letter M is derived from Italian and designates a master in any art, especially a conductor of music? Nick.
Maestro.
Is correct. For your bonus, identify each of the following associated with music. Number 1, the author who penned the line, "If music be the food of love, play on." Number 2, the German composer who brought Baroque music to its peak and is known as the father of modern music. Number 3, name the third and most famous movement of Claude Debussy's Suite Bergamesque. And number 4, name the German-born composer famous for his water music. Go ahead, Jameson.
For number 2, we have Bach, and for number 4, we have Haydn.
Number 2 is correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4. White Oak?
We don't have none.
Okay, for number 1, it's William Shakespeare. Number 3, Claire de Lune, and number 4 is Handel. Got a math toss-up next, and it'll be read twice. In Pascal's triangle, what number is found in the middle of the 5th row? In Pascal's triangle, what number is found in the middle of the 5th row? The answer is 6. U.S. history. At the height of his influence, this political leader was the 3rd largest landowner in New York City. Name this man most often associated with the Tammany Hall political machine. The answer is Boss Tweed. Mythology. When Heracles, or Hercules as we call him, was completing his 12 labors, 2 mythological characters came to his aid. Identify either of these. Victoria?
Athena.
Athena is correct, and Hermes was the other. For your bonus, identify each of the following related to Hercules. Number 1, the animal he killed in the region of Nemea. Number 2, the many-headed water serpent that grew 2 heads for every one he cut off before he finally killed the beast. Number 3, following his success in the Augean stables, name the flock of creatures he had to drive away in his subsequent labor. Number 4, name the animal of King Minos that he had to capture on the island of Crete. Victoria.
For 1, we have lion. For 2, we have hydra. And for 3, we have goats.
1 and 2 are correct for 4 points. 3 or 4, Dixon?
For number 4, we have minotaur.
No, it's the bull. In this case, a slightly different creature. Number 3 was the Stymphalian birds. Diseases, with the most troublesome types being types 16 and 18. The CDC estimates that approximately 85% of the world has been exposed to this virus known as HPV. For what does this acronym stand? Jameson.
AIDS.
Incorrect. Would you like to try it, White Oak? No? HPV is the human papilloma virus. There we go. Literature. Identify the Irish socialist author who wrote Man and Superman, Major Barbara, and Pygmalion. That was George Bernard Shaw. Your next toss-up deals with words. Identify this lavish Florida mansion of the title character in the movie Citizen Kane that shares its name with the site where Kubla Khan did a stately pleasure dome decree, according to a Samuel Taylor Coleridge poem. The correct response begins with the letter X and was also the title of a 1980 movie starring Olivia Newton-John. The answer is Xanadu. Economics. In economics, which term that begins with the letter E designates a person who risks his or her own capital in a business? Alex.
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurs, correct. For your bonus, identify each of the following economic terms based on the given definition and the first letter of each correct response. Number 1, the correct first letter will be a D, and the definition is the reduction of the value of a currency in relation to that of another country's currency. Number 2, the first letter is an S, economic situation in which prices are rising along with unemployment. Number 3 starts with a D, a drop in the value of machinery due to wear and tear or old age. And number 4, starting with an S, is the general term that includes both shares of stocks and bonds. Jameson.
For number 1, we have deflation. For number 2, we have stagflation. For number 3, we have depreciation. And for number 4, we have share owner.
2 and 3 are correct for 4 points. 1 or 4, White Oak?
For number 4, we have stock exchange. And number 3, we have deterioration.
Number 1 is devaluation instead of deflation. And number 4, they're called securities. Chemistry. If you combine the symbols for the chemical elements boron, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, iodine, and rhenium, R-H-E-N-I-U-M, what word is formed? Alex.
Bonfire.
Bonfire is correct. For your bonus, use the symbol from the periodic table for each chemical element sum to spell a common word or proper noun. Number 1, barium plus nitrogen plus potassium. Number 2, radium plus carbon plus cobalt plus oxygen plus nitrogen. Number 3, titanium plus carbon plus potassium. Number 4, nitrogen plus uranium plus nitrogen. Jameson.
And for number 1, we have bank. For number 2, we have raccoon. For number 3, we have tick. And for number 4, we have none.
Those are all correct for 10 points. You've come to the end of the first round. We'll come back with our scores in round 2 right after this.
Listen now, can you hear the bluebirds? Oh, look up now, can you feel the sun? Can you feel the sun?
After one round, our score is Dixon 28, White Oak 6. Let's meet our new players for both teams. We'll start with those from White Oak.
R.J. Walsh, Jr.
Ryan McElhenney, Jr.
Anna Driscoll, Jr.
And for Dixon,
Patrice Cade, Jr.
Austin Brewer, Jr.
Danielle Gartman, sophomore.
your first toss-up is from current events. As a result of the influx of migrants fleeing Afghanistan, Syria, and regions of northern Africa, which Balkan nation erected a 100-foot fence along its Serbian border in September 2015 to slow the influx? Jameson.
Croatia.
Incorrect. Want to try it, White Oak? Answer is Hungary. Your next toss-up is from aeronautics and space. Known for his work in the fields of astronomy and engineering, this 17th century Italian-born scientist discovered 4 satellites of the planet Saturn and noted the division of the rings of Saturn. Name this scientist after whom these divisions are named. NASA's ongoing mission to Saturn is named after him and another early astronomer, Christian Huygens. Austin.
Galileo.
Incorrect. White Oak, want to try? That's Cassini. Math, and this is not a calculation, so just one reading here. Identify the geometric figure that is mathematically defined as, in a plane, the 2 pair of congruent angles formed by 2 intersecting lines. And the answer is vertical angle. Your next toss-up deals with money. In 2016, Secretary of the Treasury Jack Lew announced that in the year 2020, this unit of currency will celebrate the women's suffrage movement and include the likenesses of Lucretia Mott, Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and Alice Paul, alongside the Treasury building. Identify this monetary. I can't see a buzzer here. Who rang in? Victoria?
The $10 bill.
$10 bill is correct. For your bonus, as of August 2016, identify the picture that appears on the back. That's the back of each of these denominations. Number 1, the $5 bill. Number 2, the 20. Number 3, the 10. And number 4, the $100 bill. Okay, RJ?
For number 1, we have Lincoln Memorial, and for number 4, we have Capitol.
Number 1's correct for 2 points. 2, 3, or 4, Dixon?
We have no answers.
Okay, for number 2, it's Independence Hall. Number 3 is the U.S. Treasury. And number 4, the White House. Biology toss-up. Until the 1960s, a 5-kingdom classification system was used to classify organisms. What level, considered higher than a kingdom, was added during that era, which includes bacteria, archaea, and eukaryota? Victoria.
Domain.
Domain is correct. For your bonus, identify each one of the following classifications as either a kingdom, phylum, class, family, order, genus, or species. Okay, did you get all of those? All right. Number 1, mollusca. Number 2, sapien. Number 3 can be said 2 ways, I believe, plantee or plante. And number 4 is proboscidea. RJ.
For number 1, we have class. For number 2, we have species. For number 3, we have kingdom. For number 4, we have phylum.
2 and 3 are correct for 4 points. Dixon, 1 or 4?
For number 1, we have species. For number 2, we have family.
Okay, we're looking just for number 4.
Oh, sorry. For number 4, we have species as well.
Number 1 is phylum, and number 4 is order, so no points there for Dixon. Literary terms. Identify the literary technique used in the following sentence. It's no wonder everyone thinks of Laura as another Mother Teresa in the making. She is helpful to everyone she meets. Austin.
Illusion.
Illusion's correct. For your bonus, identify the author or philosopher who created each of the following characters or concepts that have become common literary illusions. Number 1, the Artful Dodger. Number 2, Catch-22. Number 3, Munchkin. And number 4, Lilliputian. Jameson.
We have no answers.
No answers. White Oak, any of the 4?
For number 3, we have bomb.
Baum is correct for 2 points. Charles Dickens for number 1. Joseph Heller for number 2. And Jonathan Swift for number 4. Biology. In humans, what group of proteins is designed to recruit immune cells by binding to their antigens? Victoria.
Antibodies.
Antibodies is right. For your bonus, identify the following medical conditions based upon the descriptions provided. Number 1, among the elderly population, the loss of peak bone mass characterized by increased incidence of broken bones. Number 2, inflammation of the joints caused by excessive uric acid in the blood. Number 3, any non-cancerous visible enlargement of the thyroid gland and surrounding neck region. Number 4, inflammation of the membranes covering the brain and or spinal cord. Okay, RJ?
For number 1, we have arthritis. For number 2, we have gout. Number 4, we have strant.
Gout is correct for number 2, 1, 3, or 4, Dixon.
For number 1, we have osteoporosis.
That's correct. Any others? All right, 2 points there. Number 3 was a goiter, and number 4 is meningitis. Math calculation, so I will read this twice for you. Find the sum of the square root of 18, the square root of 32, and the square root of 72, and simplify your answer completely. Find the sum of the square root of 18, the square root of 32, and the square root of 72, and simplify your answer completely. RJ?
13 square root 2.
That is correct. For your bonus, determine the numerical value for the following exponential expressions. Number 1, 2 to the 8th power. Number 2, 128 to the 4/7. That's 4 over 7, 4/7 power. Number 3, 27 to the 2/3 power. And number 4, 125 to the negative 1/3 power. RJ?
For number 1, we have 64. For number 3, we have 9. For number 4, we have 1/5.
3 and 4 are correct for 4 points. Dixon, 1 or 2?
We have no answers.
The answer to number 1 is 256, and number 2 is 16. And that's the end of our second round. We'll come back with our scores in the lightning round in just a moment.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfast.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
After 2 rounds, we have a score of Dixon 32, White Oak 28. Let's move on into our lightning round, where today all of the answers have a double Z in them or at the end of them, one of the two. You ready? Cold wind and blinding snow. Victoria.
Blizzard.
Correct. Sound a bee makes. Rhiannon.
Buzz.
Right. Sound like many small bubbles popping. Reset, please. Victoria.
Fizzle.
We'll accept that. To drink or swallow greedily. Austin.
Guzzle.
Correct. Soft Italian cheese used on pizzas. Rhiannon.
Mozzarella.
That's right. Type of American music. Rhiannon.
Jazz.
Correct. Hershey's makes this brand of licorice. Rhiannon.
No answer, sorry.
Okay. A 19th century poem claims she gave her father 40 whacks with an axe. Victoria.
Elizabeth.
Sorry. A game, toy, or problem designed to test ingenuity. Nick.
Puzzle.
Correct. Peach skin or slang for the police. Nick.
Fuzz.
Right. To make a hissing or frying sound. Victoria.
Sizzle.
Right. What you will ring to answer this question. Jameson.
Buzzer.
That's correct. A fine rain. Nick.
Drizzle.
Correct. A specialized muscular stomach of birds used to grind up food. Ryan.
Gizzard.
Correct. Its proper name is the North American brown bear. Victoria.
Grizzly.
Correct. To be frayed or pulled apart. A bird of prey in the hawk family. Victoria.
Buzzard.
Correct. Flatbread topped with tomato sauce and cheese. Austin.
Pizza.
That's right. The end of a hose that controls the flow of a liquid. Victoria.
Nozzle.
That's right. Short tests taken without time. Rhiannon.
Quizzes?
Sir?
Quizzes?
Correct. All right, we got almost all of those right. The Hershey's brand of licorice candy is a Twizzler, and the poem that claims she gave her father 40 whacks, she is Lizzie Borden. We needed the Lizzie, and to be frayed or pulled apart is frazzled. We'll add in our points from the lightning round and come back with the final score in just a moment.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
And a final score in this highly competitive and high-scoring match was Dixon 54, White Oak 44. Thanks for watching, and please stay with us because Dixon will be back in just a minute to take on Jacksonville.
Can we get strawberries?
Okay.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a Panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Welcome back to High School Academic Derby. In match 2 today, as promised, Dixon is back and they're taking on Jacksonville. Let's meet our players and coaches. We'll start with Jacksonville, coached by Tony Zernheld, and his players for this round will be
Lizzie Coleman, Jr.
Owen Schnitzler, Senior.
Davis Long, Senior.
Monty Arcott, sophomore.
Dixon is coached by Ashley DeMartin, and her players for round 1 are
Catrice Cade, Jr.
Danielle Gartman, sophomore. Alex Gartman, senior.
Austin Brewer, Junior.
First toss-up players deals with musical instruments. Although traced historically to Iran and Persia, the mountain version of this musical instrument is often associated with the regions of Appalachia in the United States. What is the name of this stringed instrument of the zither family? Lizzie.
Dulcimer.
Dulcimer is correct. For your bonus, identify the following terms associated with the study of music. Number 1, the conventional sign used to show that the pitch of a certain note has been lowered by a semitone. Number 2, the direction that means to play very softly. Number 3, direction that means to gradually lower the loudness of a piece of music. Number 4, the direction that means to play at a slow, dignified pace. Owen.
For number 1, we have flat. For number 2, we have...
I'm sorry, say the first one again.
Flat.
Okay.
For number 2, we have pianissimo. For number 3, we have decrescendo. And for number 4, we have andante.
1 and 2 are correct for 4 points. 3 or 4, Dixon?
For number 4, we have Largo.
Largo is correct for 2 points. Diminuendo was number 3. U.S. history. During the 19th century, this politician from Maine was the first Republican to serve as vice president. Who was this assistant to President Abraham Lincoln? Lizzie.
Hamlin.
Hamlin is correct. For your bonus, identify each of the following from American history. Number 1, the American explorer who was the first to use an inflatable raft. His nickname was the Pathfinder. Number 2, the New York Yankee baseball player who in 1939 described himself as the luckiest man on the face of the earth in a farewell speech to his fans. Number 3, other than John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president to have died on the 4th of July. Number 4, the only 2 Union states where major battles took place during the Civil War. Owen?
For number 2, we have Lou Gehrig. For number 3, we have James Monroe. And for number 4, we have Pennsylvania and West Virginia.
2 and 3 are correct for 4 points. Dixon, 1 or 4?
For number 4, we have Virginia and Maryland.
They were Maryland and Pennsylvania, so each of you had one of those. John Fremont was the explorer. Literature. Identify the 17th century literary character who agrees to return home to his village after being defeated by the Knight of the White Moon. His creator was Miguel de Cervantes. Lizzie.
Quixote.
That's correct. For your bonus, identify the authors of each of the following well-known short stories. Number 1, Fall of the House of Usher. Number 2, The Jilting of Granny Weatherall. Number 3, The Gift of the Magi. Number 4, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Owen.
For number 1, we have Edgar Allan Poe. For number 3, we have O. Henry. And for number 4, we have Washington Irving.
Those are all correct for 6 points. Number 2, Dixon.
No answer.
Catherine Ann Porter. Medicine. When a cancerous tumor spreads to surrounding cells, tissue, or organs, what 10-letter noun that begins with the letter M designates Alex?
Metastatic.
I'll collect metastasis or metastastics, yes. Okay, so bonus. Identify each of the following that begins with the letters M-E-T. Number 1, the sum of all chemical processes that take place in a cell or organism that is required to sustain life. Number 2, one's basic character or temperament. Number 3, an instrument that provides a steady beat for musical practice. Number 4, an adjective that describes an excessively careful and precise process or person.
For number
Alex.
1, we have metabolism. For number 3, we have metronome. And for number 4, we have meticulous.
Those are all correct for 6 points. Number 2, Jacksonville.
For number 2, we have metal.
Metal is correct as well for 2 points. Next toss-up deals with the 2016 Olympic Games. Although Gabby Douglas spurred her Final Five team to a gold medal at the 2016 Rio Olympics, which of her partners earned the gold in the all-around women's competition? Danielle.
Simone Biles.
Correct. For your bonus, based on the given description, identify each athlete who participated in the 2016 Summer Olympics or the sport in which each person or group earned a gold medal. Number 1, the track and field event that featured the first ever podium sweep for U.S. women, Brianna Rollins, Nia Ali, and Christy Castlin. Number 2, the sport that featured the 2-time gold-winning 4-man team that included Connor Dwyer and Townley Haas. Number 3, the U.S. swimmer who took home gold in the women's 200-meter and 400-meter freestyle. And number 4, the sport in which Kayla Harrison took gold in the 78-kilogram weight class.
For number 1, we have hurdles. For number 2, we have swimming. And for number 4, we have javelin.
Last one again?
Javelin.
Okay. For number 1, I need you to be more specific. Which hurdles event, please?
400.
Okay. Number 2 is correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4, Jacksonville.
For number 3, we have Katie Ledecky, and for number 4, we have weightlifting.
Katie Ledecky is correct for 2 points. Number 1 was the 100-meter hurdles, and number 4 is judo. Math calculation, so I'll read it twice for you. An angle in standard position measures negative 640 degrees. In which quadrant does the terminal side of this angle lie? An angle in standard position measures negative 640 degrees. In which quadrant does the terminal side of this angle lie? Alex.
The third quadrant.
Incorrect. Would you like to try Jacksonville? Monty?
The fourth quadrant.
Say it.
The fourth quadrant.
No, it's the first. Maps. That's the end of our first round. We'll come back with round number 2 in just a moment.
Don't worry. The 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
After one round, the score is Jacksonville 24, Dixon 14. We have new players to meet for both teams, and we'll start with those from Jacksonville.
Maddie Rouse, 10th grade.
Julia Nazat, sophomore.
From Dixon we have
Nick Sanders, junior.
Jameson Weaver, senior.
Brandon Schmidt, senior.
Toss-up number 1 deals with maps. When interpreting a topographical map, Which term is used to designate the difference in elevation and slope between a higher and lower part of a land surface in a given area? It's called relief. Drama. Popular in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries, these allegorical plays featured protagonists who were met by characters that personified abstract qualities and encouraged the choice of a godly life over evil. By what name were these plays known? They're called morality plays. Current events. During the summer of 2016, when the United Kingdom took action to leave the European Union, what moniker did the media create to describe the historic... Nick?
Brexit.
Brexit is correct. For your bonus, identify each of the following also related to events of the year 2016. Number 1, the political party represented by Dr. Jill Stein and Ajamu Baraka in the U.S. presidential election. Number 2, golfer assessed a penalty stroke on the 5th green for moving his ball on address, but who went on to score final round 69 to earn his first major title championship at the U.S. Open. Number 3, the former Home Secretary and Minister for Women and Equality, appointed by Queen Elizabeth to the post of 76th Prime Minister. And number 4, the purveyor of goods that in 2016 was purchased by Walmart and whose commercials sport clouds of purple smoke emanating from people's heads. Alex.
For number 1, we have Green Party. For number 3, we have May. And for number 4, we have Jet.
Those 3 are correct for 6 points. Number 2, Jacksonville. Dustin Johnson. Opera. Fidelio, this composer's only opera, was inspired by his passion for political liberty. Beethoven. Chemistry. Among the lanthanides, which element is the only one with isotopes that are all radioactive or unstable? Promethium is the answer there. Famous people. Which African American man was both the first chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the first U.S. Secretary of State of his background? Lizzie.
Eric Holder?
Incorrect. Want to try it, Dixon? It was Colin Powell. Literature. Among William Shakespeare's plays, which one could be characterized in contemporary times with a line, feuding families' children fall in love? Alex. Alex?
Romeo and Juliet.
That's correct. For your bonus, based on the brief one-line description, identify each of the following works created by William Shakespeare. Number 1, the title character will do anything, including kill, to retain his title of king. Number 2, shipwrecked twins think each other dead. Number 3, moneylender demands a pound of flesh. Number 4, man foiled trying to dupe women out of money.
For number 1, we have Macbeth, and for number 2, we have 12 Knights.
Those are both correct for 4 points. Jacksonville, 3 or 4?
For number 3, we have The Merchant of Venice, and for number 4, we have The Merchant of Venice.
Merchant of Venice is correct for number 3. For number 4, it's The Merry Wives of Windsor. Vocabulary. In the words ambulatory and ambulance, what is the meaning of the Latin root ambul? Lizzie.
To walk.
To walk or move. For your bonus, identify the meaning of each root in the given word or words. Number 1, the root ARCH in the words archaeology and archive. Number 2, the root demi, D-E-M-I, in demitasse or demigod. Number 3, the root idio, I-D-I-O, in idiocratic or idiosyncrasy. And number 4, L-U-C, in lucid or translucent. Owen.
For number 1, we have history. For number 2, we have half. And for number 4, we have clear.
Number 2 is correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4, Dixon?
For number 1, we have old. For number 3, we have self. And for number 4, we have light.
1 and 4 correct for 4 points. Number 3 was peculiar, distinct, or personal. Science fiction is the next toss-up. Name any of the big 3 of early American science fiction writers whose works include I, Robot, Starship Troopers. Owen.
Isaac Asimov.
Isaac Asimov is correct. The others were Arthur Clarke and Robert Heinlein. For your bonus, identify the authors of the following science fiction novels. Number 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. Number 2, Dune. Number 3, The Time Machine. And number 4, Honor in Exile. Owen.
For number 1, we have Heinlein. For number 2, we have Herbert. And for number 3, we have Wells.
Those are correct for 6 points. Number 4, Dixon?
No answer.
David Weber. U.S. states. While California lays claim to being the most populous state in the U.S. according to the 2010 census, which 2 states come in at number 2 and number 3 in that category? Jameson.
Texas and New York.
Incorrect. You want to try Jacksonville? Texas is correct, but Florida is the other one. Physical science. Complete the following scientific analogy. Anemometer is to wind speed as blank is to atmospheric pressure. Nick.
Barometer.
Correct. For your bonus, identify each term associated with the atmosphere. The first letter of each correct response is provided. Number 1, that first letter is A. The horizontal transfer of any atmospheric property by the wind. Number 2, first letter C. Type of cloud that creates a halo effect around the sun. Number 3, first letter S. Type of cloud that forms when warm, moist air overlies a layer of cool air. Number 4, starting with an A. Temperature changes that result solely from the expansion and compression of air. Okay, Alex.
For number 1, we have affixation. For number 2, we have corona. And for number 3, we have stratus.
Stratus is correct for 2 points. Jacksonville, 1, 2, or 4.
For number 2, we have cirrus.
Number 2 is cirrostratus. Number 1 is advection. And number 4 is adiabatic. End of round 2, and we'll come back with a score in the lightning round right after this.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
After 2 rounds, we have a close game going. Jacksonville has a score of 38, Dixon 36. We have one new player to meet for Jacksonville.
Creed Mines, sophomore.
In the lightning round players, I will name a state capital and you tell me the name of that state. Are you ready? Salt Lake City. Alex.
Utah.
Correct. Santa Fe. Owen.
Arizona.
Incorrect. Boston. Jameson.
Massachusetts.
Correct. Denver. Owen.
Colorado.
Correct. Little Rock. Amani.
Arkansas.
Correct. Providence. Jameson.
Rhode Island.
Correct. Columbus. Monty.
Ohio.
Right. Jefferson City. Creed.
Missouri.
Correct. Bismarck. Jameson.
North Dakota.
Correct. Atlanta. Rhiannon.
Georgia.
Correct. Hartford. Jameson.
Connecticut.
Correct. Dover. Jameson.
Delaware.
That's correct. Montgomery. Monty.
Alabama.
That's right. Baton Rouge. Monty.
Louisiana.
Right. Des Moines. Lizzie.
Iowa.
Correct. Trenton. Monty.
New Jersey.
Right. Charleston. Owen.
South Carolina.
Incorrect. Pierre. Jameson.
South Dakota.
Correct. Harrisburg. Alex.
Pennsylvania.
Correct. Annapolis. Lizzie.
Maryland.
Correct. And the only ones we didn't get, Santa Fe, that is the capital of New Mexico, and Charleston is the capital of West Virginia. We'll come back with our final score right after this.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
And another well-played and very exciting game. Our final score today is one of the closest we've had yet this season. Dixon 58, Jacksonville 56. Academic Derby is a locally funded production of the Onslow County Schools. Thanks for watching, and please join us next time when Jacksonville will be back to play Swansboro and Richlands will take on White Oak and Northside.